Hi everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel SK Tech. In today's video, we are going to start a very important Java concept called collection, and we are going to cover like what is collection. Before collection, is there any data structure which we can use to handle the group of the objects? What is the collection framework and what are the hierarchy? So basically we are going to discuss overview of the collection, and then next upcoming video we are going to discuss each and every topic in detail. So let's begin. So let's see what is collection. So as the name suggests, collection means it represents a group of something, but in Java everything is object, right? So it means collection represents a group of object known as its element. Some collections are allowed duplicate elements, some collections are allowed order element, and some are not order element, right? So these are the basic definition of the collections in Java. So let's say, can we have any data structure already available to handle the group of the element? The answer is yes. There is an array which can store the group of the element and handle them easily. Okay. Then next question arises, can we have a data type who can handle the group of the objects? Can we use array to store the group of the object? The answer is yes, it is possible to use an array to store the group of the objects. Then why we need the collection? So first let's see how we can use the array to store the group of the object. So let's go to the IntelliJ IDE and try to understand how we can store the group of the objects. So let's say we have an employee class. Okay, let's say we have some field called ID. We have some another field, let's say string type name. Let's say we have another private field called email. Okay, and let's define some constructor here. So if you are using any IntelliJ IDE, it will be very easy for you to generate the constructor. So you need to create the generate and then constructor, and here you have to provide the list of the field. So let's say all fields, and again similar to the constructor, let's define some setter and getter methods, again using the generate button and then setter and getter method. And for displaying the output, let's define or let's override the string method. So that is toString method. Yes, so this is very simple employee class. Let's create another class to store the group of the employee object using the first array. So let's say we are going to create one class called main. Inside that, let's create one main method. And how can we store the group of the employee object inside the array? So first we need to create the array. So since we want to store the group of the employee object, we need to create the employee types array, right? How we can do it is very simple, similar to the any other type. Let's create an employee array, something like this, then some variable, let's say employees, and then employee. And here we need to provide the size of the array. That is the mandatory, right? That's why it is throwing some exception like size is expected. So let's say we are providing like 3. So it means this array can allow 3 elements to store. So how we can do that? So let's create 3 employee object and then we will store it. So let's simply create the employee object 1. Let's say E1, and let's create using the employee constructor. So what is the constructor? It is expecting ID, name, and email ID, right? So let's create like 101 sk@gmail.com. So dummy data only. Let's create similar to that another 2 object. So let's copy paste these 2 and give the different name, different value. And here is, let's say, SK Tech learning. Okay, and let's give the same name here also, and SK Tech something like this. So these are the 3 objects that we are going to store inside the array of the employee. So how we can do that? So since this is the array, so to insert the element or to get the element, we always need to remember one thing. we always need to use some looping concepts, because using the loop concept it will be very easy for us to insert or to get the element from the array. So how we can do that? So let's say starting from I equal to, let's say 0, I is less than is like array size. So what is the array name? That is array employee dot length, and here we have to provide plus plus, right? This is a very traditional for loop that we are going to use here, and inside that, using this loop, we will be storing all this element. So how we can do that? Since this is a hard coded one, so let's remove this looping concept here and let's directly store it something like in the indexes only. So like 0 index, we want to store something, and similar to that we want to store another indexes, let's say first index, second index. So because array size is 3, so 0 to 2, and here we have to provide E1, E2 and E3, right? So this is how we can store the element inside the array using the hard coded one, and if you want to print, we can use the loop, right? So we can use the for each loop also. So how we can use the for each loop? We can use this array here, something like this, and it is going to give one by one what types of the data is storing. It is storing employee type, so we have to provide employee types and then variable name, let's say emp. You can give any name, and then one by one it is going to return one by one element, and let's say we want to just simply print it. So let's print like emp, because we have already overridden the toString method, so it is going to print this format value if we are printing directly the object of the employee. So let's run this program and see the output. Yes, if you can see, it is printing all this element. So you can see that using the array we are able to store the group of the objects, and also we are able to print it. Similar to that, we can perform some other operation, but here we have observed some output. So let's see, let's go to the PPT and understand the problems here. So this is what the example we have seen just now. So what is the problem here? So here we have seen how to store the group of the element into the array and retry them again easily, but there are some inconvenience in this mechanism. First problem we can observe here is like we cannot store the different class object into the same array. The reason is that the array can store only one data types of the element, right? That's the definition of the array. It cannot store the different types of the objects. So that's the one problem that we will face if we are going with the array. Second problem we will face like adding the object at the end of the array is easy, right? But inserting and deleting the element in the middle of the array is difficult. Why? Because there is no method available in the array to store the element at the specific position. Okay, so if we want to do this, we have to rearrange all the elements of the array, something like this. So let's say we want to store 4 value in the some indexes. So what we need to do, let's say we want to store in the third indexes. So we have to shift all this element one by one in the following steps and make it this index is available for inserting this value. So this is the another problem that we will face in the case of the array. And next challenge that we will face is like retrieving the element from the array is easy. Why? Because it's having the index base, but retrieving the element, if we want to process them, let's say we want to perform some operation like deleting, inserting in the middle of the element, processing, there are so many processes are there. So there are no method available to perform this operation. And there are another problem like array size is fixed. It means that let's say if you have created the array, in our program we have created array of 3 size, right? And if you want to store the element of the fourth indexes, is it going to allow? Let's try that. So if you let's say on the fourth indexes also we want to store the element or the same types of the object, and if you run this program you will see some output, some error like array index out of bound error or something like that. So what it is trying to say, finish with the non-zero value. So what it is means, there is an error in the main method. It is saying that array index out of bound. It means that we are trying to access the indexes which is not available. So here array size is fixed. If the array size is 3 and if you want to store the element on the 4th index, it will throw some error. So this is the another problem in case of the error. So what is the solution for this? So that is nothing but the Java collection. So Java collections are the one-stop solution for all the data manipulation jobs such as sorting the data, searching, sorting, insertion, deletion and updation of the data. And there are so many operations we can perform easily with the help of the Java collection. So basically what is Java collection then? Java collection responds as a single object, and a Java collection framework provide various interfaces and classes to achieve this, to perform multiple operations. So basically Java collection provide the multiple classes and interface. So a Java collection is a predefined architecture capable of storing a group of elements and behaving like a single unit such as object or group, similar to the array, but it is having lots of facility with the help of some interfaces and classes. We will see what are the interfaces and classes are available and how we can achieve or how we can remove this drawback which we observe in case of the array. Okay. So there is another concept called Java collection framework. So we have seen what is Java collection. So framework is nothing but it's an architecture that store and manipulate the group of the objects. Basically Java collection framework include three things. One is interfaces, one is classes and algorithm. So there are multiple interfaces, multiple classes, and using the algorithm it is able to provide the multiple functionality in an efficient way. We will see what is that. So first is like what is class. We are already know that what is class. Class is nothing but the user defined blueprint or prototype from which objects are created, and it represents the set of the property or method that are common to all the objects of one type. That is the very simple definition of the class. Second thing it contains is like interface. So we already know like a class, an interface can have a method and variable, but the method declaration is an interface are by default abstract. It means that it will not have any body or any implementation. It will only have the signature. So this is the definition of the interface. Then what is the algorithm? So algorithm is nothing but it's referred to the method which are used to perform the operations such as searching or sorting in a very efficient way. Okay, so basically algorithms are some piece of code that is going to perform the operation, and it is like polymorphic in nature, meaning same method can be used to take many forms, and you can say perform different implementation of the Java collection interface. We will see how it is like either inserting the element or getting the element or removing the element or updating. So all the current operation or all these some other types of operation we will be able to perform differently in a different classes which is provided by the Java collection framework. So we'll see one by one. So we have already know why we use the Java collection. So Java collection framework is growable in nature, means some needs not to worry about the size, like how we are worrying about the size in case of the array. Like in the array case, if the size of the array was 3 and we were trying to insert the element on the 4th position, it was giving the error like array index of bound. But in case of collection, that problem will not come. We will see in detail also one by one. So just to remember, as a collection framework is growable in nature, so we no need to worry about the size. Next point, like why we need to go for the Java collection is like Java collection provide high performance and high quality data structure and algorithm to increase the performance, because internally it uses the data structure and algorithm, and you know that data structure and algorithm provide the efficient for operation, either it is insertion or deletion or updation or any kinds of operation. Third thing, like why we use the Java collection is like collection framework can hold both homogeneous and heterogeneous data. That was one of the disadvantage of the array, right? Because array can contain only the homogeneous data. Homogeneous means similar kinds of data. So either we can store the integer type, or we can store the character type, or we can store the let's say user defined class like employee. So if you want to store the element inside this array, let's say this array we have created of employee type, and if you want to store some other types, then it will not allow. How it is? So like here we have seen this error, right? So let's say we have another class, let's say we have class called product, okay, and here let's say some variable, let's say provide something PID and one another variable, let's say name, okay, and let's create simple constructor only for now. Let's select all field and let's try to add this product object also inside the array, and let's see is it allowing or not. So let's first create the object of the product. So how we can do that? It's very simple. Product p equal to new product, and we'll use the constructor, let's say 10001, and let's say name is like SKTech, okay, and let's try to store this product object inside this array. So instead of on the third position, let's try to store it. So what it is saying? It is saying like provided is product but required type is employee. What does it mean? It means inside the employee of the array we cannot store any other types of the element. Like product is the different types, right? So it is not aligned. So that's why we are saying, and this problem will be resolved in case of the collection, because collection framework can hold both homogeneous and heterogeneous objects. So this is the another reason that we can go for the Java collection. Next reason why we will go for the Java collection is like Java collection framework is implemented based on the standard data structure. It means it will provide some ready-made methods, so that instead of implementing the methods which are ready-made available, we can directly use it, like sorting, searching, like these kinds of operation or these kinds of methods are already provided by the Java collection framework. Instead of implementing the logic of those sorting or searching, we can directly use it. We will see with the help of the example also how we can do that. So these are some couple of the reasons that why we need to go for the Java collections. Okay, so let's say first hierarchy of the Java collections. Like we are talking about, like Java collection can contain some kinds of interfaces, classes, and so on. So let's see what are the things that is containing. So this is the very simple hierarchy of the Java collection framework. So this blue color represent here interfaces, and this yellow color represent here as a class. So basically first interface available inside the collection hierarchy is iterable, and then iterable is extended by the collection interface. This collection interface contains lots of methods, and those all methods will be automatically available in all kinds of the collection, like list, queue, set. So these all are having to perform the similar kinds of the operation but in a different manner. We will see one by one with the help of the example in the next upcoming video. So till now, if you have any doubt regarding the collection frameworks, do let me know in the comment section or in my mail ID, which I will be sharing in the detail section. I will be trying to clear all the doubts as soon as possible. Okay, these are the basic hierarchy of the Java collection framework. First is like, first it will be iterable interface. Inside the iterable interface, it will be providing some built-in or utility method that will be very useful for across the collection. Okay, and then it will be having super root interfaces like collection. Inside the collection, it will be having bunch of the methods which will be available in all kinds of the collection, like list collection, queue collection, set collection. But operations and the behavior will be little difference. We will see one by one what is the uses or what are the differences between the set, list or queue, and all this their implementation classes. Like list is having their implementation classes like array list, linked list, vector, and all this are performing some common operation but in a different way. Similar to that, set is also having some another collection which is also performing some common operation but in a different way. We will see each of the collection one by one, and we will also see what is the differences and how the collection framework is solved or performing the operation on the group of the objects. Okay, So let's say in this video we are going to discuss on a high level what is iterable interface and what is collection interface. Then in the next upcoming video we are going to discuss one by one this list, the set, the queue, array list, linked list, hash set, linked hash set. Okay. So let's see, first interface available in this hierarchy is iterable, right? Iterable interface. So what is iterable interface? So basically iterable interface is a part of the java.util package. And what are the packages or what are the classes or interfaces are available as part of the java.util package? It means that it is going to provide some utility method, means pre-built method which we can use easily to perform our operation. So iterator interface is also a part of the java.util package, and it's provide a standard way to iterate over an element inside the collection. So basically how we can iterate the collections or any kinds of the array, linked list. So basically iterator is used to iterate over a collection, okay, such as list, set and map. Map is not part of the collection hierarchy, but it is also kinds of the collection. We will see in detail. Okay. So what is the advantage of using this iterator interface instead of going for the for each? Basically this is going to be iterate in an element inside the collection without exposing the underlying detail of the collection implementation. Means what are the implementation, how the implementation was defined inside the collection. Without worrying about this implementation, it is going to provide their own built-in method. That's why it is available inside the utility package. It means it is going to provide some utility methods by which we can simply check and iterate it. So what are those methods? So basically there are three main methods available inside the iterable interface. First is like hash next, then next and then remove. So what is the use of the hash next? So as the name itself suggesting, like what can be the meaning? So hash next means it is going to check inside the collection, is there any element available or not. If that element is available, means if any element is available, so using this next method we will be able to get this element. Similar to that, using this remove method we will be able to remove those elements. So these are the some three methods available inside the iterable interface, and this is the internal implementation of the iterable interface. So this is how Java internally implemented. So if you can see here, return type of the hash next method is boolean. It means it's just going to check is there any element available or not. If it is available, it is going to return true, otherwise it is going to return false. So it will be very easy for using this method to checking that elements are present or not, and based on that we will get the element or we will remove the element using the next method or remove method. So we will take the example also and then we will see. Okay, so let's go to the IntelliJ IDE and let's write this example and let's see the impact directly. Okay, so let's go here and let's create one simple class like iterable example. Okay, so as we know, iterable interface is the interface which is going to provide some built-in utility method and which is going to use to iterate over an element inside the collection, right? So it means we need the collection. So first we need to create the collection, we need to store some dummy object, and then we will see how we can iterate using the iterator. So we will see in detail how to create the collection, any kinds of the collection. So for example, let's say we are going to create list type of the collection. We have seen that in the hierarchy, right? There are of type list. So let's say we are going to create the list type of the collection and we are going to provide some string value. Okay, and let's give some object name, and then let's say we are going to provide as a array list. We will see, don't worry about the syntax, just let's import this. Okay, don't worry about the syntax, this is the very simple syntax to create the array list of type list, and then there are some built-in method. Using that we can store some element like add method, and here we need to provide the value. So let's say we are going to provide like sk tech learning. So this, let's suppose that this is the collection which is having 3 elements, and how we can iterate it. So using the iterator we can iterate it. So there is another method available inside of the all types of the collection called iterator. So on that is going to work on the collection itself. So we need to use something like list.iterator. So if you can see here, what is the return type of this? It is going to return the iterator interface. That's what we are trying to understand here. So we need to write here something like iterator. Okay, and let's give some variable like it, and this iterator interface provided three methods, right? Three built-in methods, that is nothing but hasNext, next and remove. So we can use this hasNext method to check any element available or not inside this collection, and based on that either we can get it or we can remove it. So let's say how we can do that. So to check any condition, we can use some kinds of the conditional check like while loop. So let's say check while loop it dot hasNext. So this is going to return true till the element available inside this list. Okay, so if the element is available, it means this value is true, it will go inside the loop, and we want to get that element. So how we can get that element? So we will use another built-in method, that is next method. So let's say we want to print it simply. Okay, so let's say how we can do that, it dot next. So what it is saying, it is going to return as an object type, but this is expecting as an integer type, but this is expecting as a string type. So how you can do that? There are two ways. Either you can simply append the empty string, or you have a string class and having one method, right, value of, which is going to, I guess we are going to convert this value in a string format, right, and that's it. So if you run this program, you will see the output. It is going to iterate it and it is going to print it, each element. So you can see it is printing sk, skTech and skTech learning. Since we have not given println again here, so let's give the println, then it will be more visible. Yeah, so you can see it is able to iterate it and it is able to print it. So if you can see, it is printing all the element, it is not going beyond of this list, right, because we are checking always if the list contain the element or not. If it is contained, it means it is going to return true, then only we are getting the element, right. So this is the example of the iterable interface. Okay, next interface available in this hierarchy is collection itself. So collection interface basically is the implementation of the, or you can say extending the iterable interface, right, because iterable is the root interface, right, in the collection hierarchy. So it implements the iterable interface. Second is like collection interface is one of the root interface in the collection hierarchy, which is going to provide bunch of the methods. We will see all those methods one by one. Next point we have to remember, or we have to know about, like collection interface is like, collection interface is not directly implemented by any class. Why? Because we have seen collection interface is further categorized into the three parts, right, something like list, queue and set. So here iterable interface providing some built-in method, and then again those iterable interface is extended by the collection interface, and inside the collection interface again it is going to provide bunch of the methods. So we will see all of these methods, and then again, since collection interface is not directly implemented by any class, basically it is going to be implemented indirectly by subtypes or sub interface like list, set and queue. So this is again, it is going to be categorized into the three forms. And why it is going to be categorized? Because same operation can be performed in all of this collection, but in some different way. We will see what is the difference between the list, set and queue in the next upcoming video. Okay, so let's see some what are the methods available inside this collection interface. So basically there are a bunch of methods. So first method is like add method. This method we have already seen, right, in this example, like what is the use of this add method. Basically this method is used to add the element inside the collection, and this method is going to be available across the collection because this method is available inside the collection interface, and since collection interface is the root interface for all the interfaces, right, like list, set and queue. So what are the methods that we are going to discuss? Those all methods is going to be available in all of the collection. So just listen carefully. So first method that we have seen, add method. Second method is available like add all. Add all means, as the name itself suggests, it is going to add all the element in a given collection. So The argument type of this method is like collection. So let's say we have a bunch of collection and we want to store those collection inside the collection, then we will need to use add all method. Next method available inside the collection interface is clear. So as the name suggests, this method remove all the element from this collection. So sometime we may require to remove all the element from the collection so that we can perform or we can add some other element. Next method available is contains. So this method basically expects some object types and those object types is going to be checked inside the collection. So basically this method is going to return true if the collection contain the specific element that we have provided. Okay. Next method is contain alls. Similar to the contains, where we are providing one element to check that element are present or not. Similar to that, we have another method called contain alls, and here we are going to provide collections, means group of the element or a collection of the element that is going to check inside the collection. So basically this method is going to return true if the collection contains all of the element in the given collection. Next method available in the collection interface is equal. So as the name itself suggests, this method compare the specific object with the collection for the equality check. Similar to that hash code method. Hash code method means this method is used to return the hash code value for this collection. Let's say we want to get the hash code value to check the address of the object or memory location of the object, we can go for the hash code. Next method available in the collection interface is empty. Is empty means this method is going to return true because the return type of this method is boolean. This method is going to return true if the collection contains no element, means this method is useful to check either the collection contains any element or not. If it does not contain any element, it is going to return true, otherwise it is going to return false. Next method is available inside the collection interface is iterator. We have already seen what is the use of the iterator interface. So we have already seen what is the use of the iterator method. So this method is useful to return the iterable interface, because if you want to perform or want to use the iterable interface utility methods, we need to create the iterable object, and this method is useful, is going to return the iterable interface. That's what we have seen in this example also. Using this list, we have called this iterator method and we got this iterator, right? And using this interface, we are able to use these methods, right? This built-in utility methods. Next method available is max. So as the name suggests itself, this method is used to return the maximum value present in the collection. Don't worry about the naming or methods and all. We are going to see with the help of the example each and every methods. Okay. Next method is available is parallel stream. So this method is available after Java 8. We will see in detail in the Java 8 concept. So this method is going to return the parallel stream. We will see what is the use of the parallel stream, why we want the parallel stream. Similar to that, we have another method called remove. So remove method is used to remove the given object from the collection. Let's say we want to remove on specific element. So it is going to remove, and here is one advantage is like if there are duplicate values. So this method is going to remove first occurrence of the object. So let's say we want to remove all the occurrences. What we can do, we will use the remove all. So this method is used to remove all the object mentioned in the given collection from the collection. Okay, and we have another method called remove if. So as you can see, the name itself is suggesting like remove if. Here predicate. So this predicate concept is also comes under the Java 8 concept. Basically here we need to provide the condition. So basically it is going to remove all the element of this collection that specify the given condition. So it is something like filter. This will also see inside the Java 8 concept. Next method available in collection interface is retain all. So what does it mean by retain all? Retain all means this method is used to retain only the element in the collection that are contained in the specific collection. Meaning, let's say we have a collection, and inside the collection, let's say we have an element called A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Basically, if we want to keep only A, B, C and rest of the element we want to remove, so we can use this method. We can provide the collection that we want to retain inside the collection and rest of the element we want to remove it. So in that kinds of scenario, we will go for the retain all method. Next method available in Java in the collection interface is like size method. So basically this method is going to return the number of the element inside the collection. So what are the size of the collection? Next method is available inside the collection interface is split iterator. So this method is used to create the split iterator over the element in the collection. Similar to the iterator, there is another interface or other implementation are there, split iterator, and there are having some another advantage. So using this method, we will be able to create the instance of the split iterator similar to the iterator, and using that we will be able to use utility method provided by the split iterator. We will see in detail. Next method is available is stream method. Similar to the parallel stream concept is also comes in part of the Java 8, and we will see what is the advantage of using the stream in the Java 8 concept. Basically this method is useful to create the instance of the stream class. Okay, and the last method available inside the collection interface is like toArray. So this method is used to return the array containing all the element inside the collection. So let's say we have some types of requirement, we have a list of collections, or let's say we have a collection of element, we want to convert it into the array so that we can perform the array operation. In those kinds of scenario we will use this method. So these are some couple of the methods available inside the collection interface, and these all those method is going to be available by default, or you can say indirectly as part of the all the collection types like list, set, queue. Along with that, list, set and queue also contain some special kinds of method which is specific to the list, specific to the set, specific to the queue. We will see one by one in detail in next upcoming video. So basically that's all for today's video. So if you have any comments or any doubts, do let me know in the comment section or in my mail ID, which I am going to share in the detail section. So I will try to help, or I will try to clear all your doubts over an email or over a chat box or comment section. Thank you. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe this channel to reach out to the other people. Okay, thank you.